Imagine carrying the weight of an entire music genre on your shoulders while battling chronic pain, addiction, and personal demons. This was the reality for Hank Williams Sr., the man who would become known as the original outlaw of country music. His life was a roller coaster of incredible highs and devastating lows, all of which found their way into his timeless songs. Let's take a journey through the life of this complex artist. We'll explore how his personal struggles influenced his music, how his innovative style changed the face of country, and how his legacy continues to inspire artists today. Are you ready to see the real Hank Williams? Hank Williams was born in 1923 in rural Alabama with a hidden spinal deformity called spina bifida occulta. This condition would profoundly shape his life and music. Growing up during the Great Depression, young Hank often found himself unable to join other children in play or work due to his health issues. Recognizing her son's struggle, Hank's mother Lily made a pivotal decision. When Hank was just 8 years old, she managed to buy him a guitar. This instrument quickly became Hank's constant companion and a source of comfort. As he learned to play, he discovered that music could ease both his physical discomfort and emotional turmoil. The blues particularly resonated with Hank. Its raw emotion and ability to transform suffering into art spoke to him on a deep level. Picture a young boy, gradually mastering his instrument, his fingers becoming more nimble with each passing day. The notes he coaxed from the strings evolved into a personal language, allowing him to express feelings he couldn't put into words. Hank's early attempts at songwriting drew from his experiences of pain, loneliness, and the hardships he observed around him. This direct connection between life experience and artistic expression became a hallmark of his style. As he grew older, his musical talents flourished, and he began to blend the blues with the country and gospel sounds of Alabama. This unique fusion would eventually set him apart from other musicians of his time. Learning to play was just the beginning of Hank's musical journey. The road ahead would be filled with both triumphs and challenges. His guitar, once a source of solace, would become both his greatest asset and, at times, a heavy responsibility. As we follow Hank's path from those early days of strumming on his porch, we'll see how his childhood experiences continued to influence his music, his relationships, and ultimately, the lasting impact he would have on country music. In the 1930s South, a young Hank Williams formed an unlikely and risky friendship with Rufus T-Tot Payne, an African-American street musician. This partnership, forged in a time of strict racial segregation, would shape the future of country music. Payne, a skilled guitarist known for his captivating performances on the streets of Greenville, Alabama, became Williams's musical mentor. For the young Hank, already marked by his spinal condition, Payne's blues was a revelation. The raw emotion and rhythmic complexity spoke to something deep within him. Despite the societal barriers, Williams sought out Payne's guidance. Payne taught Williams more than just guitar techniques. He showed him how to engage an audience, how to pour emotion into every note, and how to make the guitar sing. Williams absorbed these lessons, integrating Payne's bluesy style into his own developing sound. The influence of the blues on early country music was significant, but Williams took it further. He combined the raw honesty of the blues with the storytelling tradition of country, creating a sound that was both familiar and innovative. This blues foundation gave Williams's music a depth and authenticity that resonated with audiences. His songs weren't just catchy tunes, they were emotional journeys that spoke to the joys and sorrows of everyday life. As Williams's style developed, it became clear that he was creating something truly unique. His music didn't fit neatly into the categories of country or blues. Instead, it existed in a new space, blending elements of both genres to create something entirely his own. This approach would eventually earn him the title of Hillbilly Shakespeare, a nod to his poetic lyrics and universal appeal. Williams's unique style, born from this cross-racial mentorship, would go on to influence generations of musicians. But as groundbreaking as his sound was, creating it was only the first step. The real challenge lay ahead: how to get this new music heard in a world that was often resistant to change. The road from street corners to stardom would be a long and winding one, filled with both triumphs and setbacks. Hank Williams faced a significant challenge as he set out to share his unique sound with the world. In the late 1930s, Montgomery, Alabama was struggling through the Great Depression, and opportunities for musicians were scarce. For young Hank, the city became a proving ground. He started by performing on street corners, guitar in hand, playing for anyone who'd listen. These impromptu performances taught him to read a crowd, adjust his style, and pour his heart into every note. Local radio station WSFA became Hank's gateway to a wider audience. He landed a regular spot on the air, performing live and building a loyal following. During this time, Hank formed his first band, the Driftin' Cowboys. They played at local venues, schoolhouses, movie theaters, and anywhere else that would have them. Hank's persistence began to pay off. In 1937, he entered a talent show at the Empire Theater, performing an original song called WPA Blues. He won first prize, marking his first real public recognition as a songwriter. The real turning point came in 1946 when Hank's wife, Audrey, introduced him to Fred Rose, a prominent figure in the Nashville music scene. Rose immediately recognized Hank's raw talent and unique style. He saw a voice that could speak to the heart of America and signed Hank to a contract, leading to his first recordings. This breakthrough was a moment that would change the course of country music history. Yet, Hank's path to stardom was far from smooth. The music industry presented new challenges he'd never faced before. As he stepped into this new chapter, Hank would need every ounce of the grit and determination he'd learned on those Montgomery Street corners. Picture a dimly lit bar, the air thick with cigarette smoke and the clink of beer bottles. This was the world of the honky tonk, where Hank Williams would find both his muse and his demons. The story of how Move It On Over became the anthem of a generation involves a perfect storm of talent, timing, and raw emotion. In the years following World War II, honky tonks became gathering places for working-class folks looking to blow off steam, dance, and forget their troubles. These establishments played a crucial role in shaping the sound of country music, providing a real-world laboratory for artists to test their songs on live audiences. Hank Williams crafted Move It On Over in this environment, drawing from the ups and downs of his marriage to Audrey Shepherd. He transformed their conflicts into lyrics that resonated with anyone who'd ever found themselves in the doghouse. The song's upbeat tempo and clever wordplay masked a deeper theme of marital discord, a subject that many listeners found all too familiar. When Williams first performed Move It On Over, audiences immediately connected with its catchy chorus and relatable story. Its blend of traditional country elements with a more rhythmic, danceable beat helped define the honky-tonk style. The song showcased Williams's unique ability to capture complex emotions in simple, powerful lyrics, demonstrating that country music could be both fun and meaningful. The success of Move It On Over marked a turning point in Williams's career. He went from being an aspiring musician to a rising star with a hit record. This breakthrough led to bigger venues, more radio play, and the attention of major record labels. However, as Williams's popularity grew, so did the pressures that came with success. The honky-tonk lifestyle that inspired his music also presented temptations that would prove difficult to resist. The impact of Move It On Over extended beyond Williams's personal success. It helped shape the future of country music, influencing generations of artists and solidifying the honky-tonk sound as a cornerstone of the genre. The song's enduring popularity is a testament to Williams's talent for crafting relatable, timeless music that speaks to the human experience. Hank Williams's rise to fame was intertwined with a love story that would shape his music and life. In 1943, Audrey Shepherd entered Hank's world at a medicine show in Alabama. A single mother with a complex past, Audrey quickly became more than a fan, joining his band and igniting a romance that would leave an indelible mark on country music. Their 1944 marriage at a Texaco station in Andalusia, Alabama, was as unconventional as their relationship. From the beginning, their union faced challenges, including legal complications from Audrey's previous divorce. As Hank's career took off, Audrey played a pivotal role, acting as his manager and pushing him towards success with unwavering determination. However, their relationship was far from idyllic. Audrey often found herself at odds with Hank's mother, creating a tense dynamic that affected the musician deeply. The birth of their son, Randall Hank Williams, later known as Hank Jr., in 1949 added new pressures to their marriage, coinciding with Hank's growing struggles with alcohol and painkillers. Hank's complex feelings for Audrey became a wellspring of creativity, inspiring some of his most powerful songs. Hits like Your Cheatin' Heart and Cold, Cold Heart resonated with millions, offering glimpses into the soul of a man grappling with love and loss. By 1952, the strain on their relationship became insurmountable, leading to a bitter divorce. This split coincided with a decline in both Hank's health and career. Despite the personal tragedy, the impact on country music was profound, with the pain of their failed marriage producing some of the genre's most enduring classics. In the context of country music's power couples, Hank and Audrey's story stands out for its raw intensity and lasting influence. Their relationship exemplified the challenges faced by many in the industry, where personal and professional lives often collided with dramatic consequences. As his personal life unraveled, Hank turned increasingly to alcohol for solace. What had once been a companion on lonely nights now threatened to consume him entirely. This period set the stage for the next chapter in the life of country music's troubled genius, testing his resilience and creativity in ways that would further cement his legacy in the annals of music history. Success in country music often comes with a price, and for Hank Williams, that price was steeper than most. As his star rose in the late 1940s, his unique blend of honky tonk and blues struck a chord with audiences across the country. Radio stations couldn't get enough of his music, and record sales soared. But this meteoric rise brought pressures Williams wasn't prepared to handle. Touring became relentless, with Williams on the road for weeks at a time. The physical toll was immense, especially for a man already battling chronic pain from his spinal condition. To cope, Williams turned to alcohol and prescription drugs, quickly spiraling into addiction. The honky-tonk culture that celebrated his music also enabled his worst habits, with bars and clubs keeping the drinks flowing for their star attraction. As Williams's dependency grew, his reputation for unreliability followed. Shows were missed or cut short, and recording sessions became unpredictable. The raw, emotional performer was now just as likely to show up drunk or not at all. In August 1952, after one too many missed performances, the Grand Ole Opry made the difficult decision to fire Hank Williams. It was a devastating blow to a man who had once been their brightest star. This firing marked a turning point. Williams's public image, once that of a lovable rogue, was now tarnished. Record labels and promoters became wary of working with him, and the success that had propelled him to stardom began slipping away. Yet even as his professional life faltered, Williams's creative spark remained undimmed. Some of his most powerful and enduring songs came from this period of personal turmoil, transforming pain into poetry. This ability would cement his legacy as one of country music's greatest songwriters, even as it foreshadowed his tragic end. In 1949, Hank Williams stumbled upon a song that would change everything. Lovesick Blues, written by Cliff Friend and Irving Mills in 1922, had been around for nearly 3 decades. Despite its long history, the song hadn't quite found its perfect voice yet. When Williams decided to record Lovesick Blues, it seemed like an odd choice for a rising star known for his heartfelt original compositions. The record label didn't have high hopes, viewing it as just another track to fill out a recording session. But something magical happened when Williams stepped up to the microphone. He took that old song and breathed new life into it. His version was raw, emotional, and utterly captivating. Williams's unique vocal style, with its trademark yodel and heartfelt delivery, transformed Lovesick Blues into something entirely new. The impact was immediate and profound. Listeners couldn't get enough of Williams's rendition. It resonated with people in a way the original never had. The song's success opened doors for Williams, most notably an invitation to perform at the Grand Ole Opry, country music's most prestigious stage. Williams's debut at the Opry was nothing short of spectacular. His performance of Lovesick Blues brought the house down, earning him an unprecedented 6 encores. In that moment, a star was truly born. The song had become his signature tune, forever associated with his name. The success of Lovesick Blues had a lasting impact on country music as a whole. Williams's emotional delivery and unique vocal style set a new standard for country singers. Future artists would study his performance, trying to capture that same raw honesty in their own music. As Lovesick Blues climbed the charts and Williams's fame grew, it seemed like he had finally achieved the success he'd always dreamed of. But the reality was more complicated. While his professional life soared to new heights, his personal struggles continued to deepen. The man who could make audiences feel every word of Lovesick Blues was fighting his own battles with loneliness, pain, and addiction. The stage was set for both triumph and tragedy in the life of country music's newest superstar. Hank Williams' songwriting process was deeply personal, often drawing from his own experiences and emotional struggles. He relied on storytelling and raw emotion to craft his songs, creating music that resonated deeply with listeners. Williams once claimed he could write a hit in 20 minutes, highlighting his belief in the power of spontaneity and raw emotion in songwriting. This approach allowed Williams to create powerful, relatable music, but it also meant constantly reopening his own emotional wounds. "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry" captures the essence of loneliness and despair in a way that still resonates today. When Williams sang about a whippoorwill that sounds too blue to fly, he was expressing his own deep-seated feelings of isolation and sadness. For Williams, songwriting became a form of therapy, allowing him to process his emotions and experiences through his art. However, unlike a private therapy session, his emotional outpourings were broadcast to millions of listeners. This raw emotional honesty set a new standard for country songwriting, showing that the genre could be a vehicle for exploring the complexities of the human heart. The connection between personal struggle and artistic expression is evident throughout Williams' work. His straightforward approach and ability to convey deep emotional truth became a benchmark for later country artists. However, as Williams poured his pain into his music, he was also deepening the well of his own suffering. His ability to translate personal pain into universal themes was a double-edged sword, connecting him with his audience while simultaneously isolating him in his own torment. The same pen that wrote chart-topping hits was also writing a tragic story. Williams's process of tapping into such raw emotions so quickly and frequently came at a significant personal cost. Constantly expressing intense feelings, often fueled by his struggles with addiction and chronic pain, took a toll on his mental state. The very emotions that made his songs so powerful were eating away at him from the inside, raising questions about the true price of his artistic genius. Hank Williams, the country music icon, created an alter ego that allowed him to explore a different side of his artistry. In 1950, he introduced Luke the Drifter, a pseudonym he used to record spoken word pieces that differed greatly from his usual honky tonk hits. This alter ego gave Williams a platform to express his spiritual beliefs and moral concerns without the constraints of his established musical style. The creation of Luke the Drifter was partly a practical decision. Fred Rose, Williams's manager, suggested using the name to avoid confusing jukebox operators. These moralistic tracks didn't align with the expectations of honky-tonk patrons looking for danceable tunes. By separating Luke from Hank, Williams could explore deeper themes while maintaining his commercial success. Under the Luke the Drifter moniker, Williams recorded pieces that focused on spirituality, morality, and social justice. These weren't typical songs, but often narrations and stories that illustrated everyday struggles and the consequences of life choices. Tracks like Wealth Won't Save Your Soul and Calling You showcased Williams's deep spiritual beliefs and his ongoing battle with personal demons. The Luke the Drifter recordings allowed Williams to step outside the boundaries of traditional country music. He addressed themes that might have seemed out of place in his usual repertoire, reflecting on relationships and exploring social issues. These pieces demonstrated Williams's skill as a storyteller beyond his musical talents. This alter ego provided an outlet for the complex, often contradictory aspects of Williams's personality. While his honky-tonk hits spoke of heartbreak and hard living, Luke the Drifter preached about redemption and moral living. It was as if Williams was using this persona to explore the man he aspired to be, even as his personal life spiraled out of control. The Luke the Drifter recordings hold a unique place in country music history. They reveal a thoughtful, introspective side of Williams, deeply concerned with matters of the soul. These pieces showcase the depth of his talent and the breadth of his artistic vision, offering a glimpse into the complex mind of a country music legend. However, the alter ego that allowed Williams to explore his spiritual side couldn't save him from the demons that plagued his personal life. Even as he preached virtue through Luke, Hank's own life was unraveling, highlighting the stark contrast between his artistic aspirations and personal struggles. As Hank Williams' songs climbed the charts, his personal life was plummeting to new lows. In the early 1950s, Williams was at the pinnacle of commercial success. His records were flying off the shelves, and his concerts were selling out across the country. But behind the scenes, a different story was unfolding. Williams's professional achievements were staggering. In 1950, he was earning around $1,000 per show, about $12,700 in today's money. His songs were dominating the country music charts, and his influence was spreading beyond the genre. However, this success came at a steep personal cost. The constant touring took a brutal toll on Williams's already fragile health. His chronic back pain, a lifelong struggle due to his spina bifida, worsened with long hours on the road. The honky tonk lifestyle, with its late nights and easy access to alcohol, exacerbated his problems. Williams's drinking, once a coping mechanism, spiraled into full-blown alcoholism. His marriage to Audrey was falling apart simultaneously. The couple's fights became more frequent and public. Their divorce in 1952 marked a bitter end to a tumultuous relationship that had inspired some of Williams's greatest songs. It also left him more isolated than ever, struggling to navigate his newfound fame and expectations. In the 1950s, there was little support for struggling artists in the music industry. The pressure to maintain his image and keep producing hits was immense. Williams turned to desperate measures to cope with both physical and emotional pain. His reliance on alcohol increased dramatically, and he began to lean heavily on prescription drugs, particularly morphine and other painkillers. These substances, meant to provide relief, instead pulled him deeper into addiction. As Williams's addictions grew, his music took on an even darker, more prophetic tone. Songs like "I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive," recorded in 1952, seemed to foreshadow his own tragic fate. The man who had once sung about Lovesick Blues was now singing about a pain that seemed inescapable, reflecting the harsh reality of his personal struggles. Hank Williams's final journey began on New Year's Eve 1952, when he set out from Montgomery, Alabama, to perform in Charleston, West Virginia, and Canton, Ohio. Charles Carr, a young college student, was hired to drive Williams through the winter weather. As they traveled, Williams's health rapidly declined due to a dangerous combination of alcohol and chloral hydrate. In Knoxville, Tennessee, Williams's condition became critical. At the Andrew Johnson Hotel, Dr. P.H. Cardwell administered vitamin B12 shots with morphine to the ailing musician. Despite his weakened state, Williams insisted on continuing the journey, needing to be carried to the car by hotel porters. The situation grew increasingly dire as Carr drove through the night. After nearly 20 hours on the road, Carr stopped at a gas station in Oak Hill, West Virginia, where he made a devastating discovery. Williams had been unresponsive for some time. At 5:30 a.m. on January 1st, 1953, Hank Williams was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The circumstances surrounding Williams's death remain mysterious. An autopsy revealed acute right ventricular dilation and signs of recent physical trauma, including a welt on his head. These findings have sparked decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. Williams's death sent shockwaves through the music world. At the Canton, Ohio venue where he was set to perform, the audience initially thought it was a joke. As reality set in, performers and fans joined in singing "I Saw the Light" in tribute. His funeral on January 4, 1953, drew an estimated 15,000 to 25,000 mourners to Montgomery, Alabama. Country music stars gathered to pay their respects, and Williams's casket was displayed on stage at the Montgomery Auditorium, showcasing his profound impact on the genre and his deep connection with fans. Hank Williams's life ended at 29, but his music found a lasting place in American culture. When news of his death spread on January 1st, 1953, it sent shockwaves through the country music world. Fans and fellow musicians struggled to process the loss of such a bright star. As the initial shock faded, Williams's music took on new significance. In the weeks following his passing, demand for Williams's records skyrocketed. MGM Records reported a surge in sales as fans sought to hold on to a piece of the fallen star. Radio stations played his songs in heavy rotation, introducing his music to new listeners. Williams had achieved a level of fame that even he couldn't have imagined during his lifetime. Williams's influence extended far beyond country music. His songs became standards, covered by artists across genres. Musicians from Bob Dylan to the Rolling Stones found inspiration in Williams's raw emotional honesty and songwriting craft. His ability to express universal feelings with simple yet poignant lyrics transformed country music into a major cultural force in American life. The management of Williams's estate introduced unique initiatives to maintain his legacy. In 2010, the album Hank Williams, The Complete Mother's Best Recordings, Plus, earned a Grammy nomination for Best Historical Album, showcasing the enduring interest in Williams's work nearly 6 decades after his death. Williams's impact on American music has only deepened with time. In 1961, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, recognizing his foundational role in shaping the genre. In 2010, the Pulitzer Board awarded Williams a special citation for his pivotal role in country music's development. Even in the 21st century, Williams's star continues to shine. In 2023, on the 100th anniversary of his birth, events across the country honored his memory. Concerts, exhibitions, and a proclamation of Hank Williams Day demonstrated that his music still resonates with modern audiences. His songs continue to be covered, sampled, and celebrated in various cultural contexts, keeping his legacy alive for new generations. As we look back on Williams's life and career, it's clear that his impact on American music is immeasurable. His songs have become part of our cultural heritage, as relevant today as when first recorded. But the Williams family story didn't end with Hank's death. It was beginning a new chapter. As the Williams family legacy continued, another musical revolution was brewing. Hank's raw emotion and honesty were about to inspire a whole new generation of artists, in a genre he never even played. His influence on early rock and roll pioneers was profound, despite never strumming an electric guitar or shaking his hips on national television. The power of Williams's music resonated far beyond country music boundaries. His ability to tap into universal feelings and express them with simplicity cut straight to the heart. This emotional authenticity became a cornerstone of rock and roll, inspiring legends like Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, and Johnny Cash. Elvis Presley, a big fan of Williams, often covered his songs in early performances. Presley's rendition of Your Cheatin' Heart became a staple of his live shows, introducing Williams's music to a new audience. The Beatles, too, drew inspiration from Williams's songwriting. Paul McCartney noted that Williams's approach influenced their lyrical crafting, showing them the power of simple, direct words to convey deep emotion. Bob Dylan, known for his poetic and often complex lyrics, praised Williams's ability to express profound ideas in simple terms. Dylan's early work, with its focus on storytelling and emotional honesty, owes a debt to Williams's style. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recognized Williams's impact when they inducted him in 1987 under the Early Influence category, noting his brutally honest songs written in the language of the everyman. Williams's influence extended beyond individual artists. His unique sound, blending various musical styles including blues and country, not only defined his career, but also paved the way for future genres. The emotional depth and storytelling in his songs became a blueprint for generations of songwriters across multiple genres. From the honky tonks of Alabama to the stadiums of rock and roll, Williams's spirit lives on in the music that moves us. His impact wasn't confined to the world of music alone. Williams had become more than just a musician. He was becoming an American icon, his influence woven into the very fabric of popular culture. Hank Williams has become an American legend, transcending his status as a country music star. Since his death, Williams's story has grown into a larger-than-life narrative that embodies both the triumphs and tragedies of the American dream. The romanticization of Williams's life began almost immediately after his passing. His struggles with addiction, tumultuous relationships, and early death at 29 all contributed to a narrative of a tortured artist. This image of Williams as a brilliant but troubled soul resonated deeply with the public, tapping into fundamental ideas about artistic genius. Williams's story continues to captivate audiences in popular culture. The 2015 film, I Saw the Light, starring Tom Hiddleston, is a notable example of how his life story remains relevant. These depictions often emphasize the dramatic aspects of his life, painting a picture of a man who left behind a legacy of timeless music. The elevation of Williams to mythical status is part of a broader cultural phenomenon, where certain figures embody quintessentially American qualities. His rise from poverty to stardom, innovative musical style, and tragic end all contribute to this larger-than-life image. The Country Music Hall of Fame acknowledges that Williams's legend often overshadows the real man. The gap between the frail, introverted Williams and the charismatic performer we imagine reveals our powerful need for cultural heroes. Williams's myth has profoundly impacted the perception of country music as a whole. His story has become a template for the genre's narrative, the idea of authentic, raw talent emerging from humble roots. This perception has shaped country music's image and influenced countless artists who followed in Williams's footsteps. While Hank Williams's voice fell silent in 1953, his creative spirit lives on. In a surprising turn of events, Williams is still releasing new music decades after his death. This unexpected development stems from the discovery of his lost notebooks, a treasure trove of unrecorded lyrics that have captivated fans and artists alike. The notebooks came to light in 2002 when Sony ATV Music acquired Acuff Rose Publications. Stored in a fireproof vault, these 4 notebooks contain 66 unpublished songs, offering a glimpse into Williams's creative process and unrealized potential. The discovery sparked excitement in the country music world and led to a unique project to bring these lost lyrics to life. Contemporary artists were enlisted to create music for Williams's words in a project titled The Lost Notebooks of Hank Williams, released in 2011. Bob Dylan, a longtime admirer of Williams, transformed The Love That Faded into what he described as a honky tonk waltz through heartache. Hank's granddaughter, Holly Williams, added her own lines and a bridge to complete Blue Is My Heart, creating a poignant collaboration across generations. The process of creating music for these unfinished works sparked debates about artistic integrity and authenticity. Some argued it was presumptuous to guess how Williams might have completed these songs, while others saw it as a way to honor his legacy and introduce his work to new listeners. Despite these concerns, the reception of the Lost Notebooks of Hank Williams was generally positive, with critics praising how contemporary artists blended their styles with Williams's timeless lyrics. As we explore these newly discovered works, we gain new insights into Williams's creative process and the depth of his talent. These new songs reveal a songwriter who continued to push himself creatively, even as his personal life was unraveling. They offer a bittersweet glimpse of what might have been if Williams had lived to complete these works himself. The Lost Notebooks project has succeeded in keeping Williams's legacy alive and relevant in the 21st century. It's introduced his songwriting to new generations of listeners and reminded longtime fans of his enduring talent. As we continue to study these works, we gain a deeper understanding of the man behind the music, including the troubled mind that produced such timeless art. The project serves as a testament to Williams's lasting impact on country music and his ability to connect with audiences long after his passing. Hank Williams was country music's first superstar and rebel. He challenged the norms of the music industry and society in the 1940s, long before outlaw country became a term. His raw, emotional performances and brutally honest lyrics set him apart from the polished country crooners of his time. Williams's behavior often raised eyebrows in the conservative world of country music. He showed up to performances drunk, missed shows, and lived a lifestyle far from the clean-cut image expected of country stars. Fans saw in Williams a reflection of their own struggles and imperfections, which endeared him to them. His music pushed boundaries by addressing topics often considered taboo: infidelity, alcoholism, and deep personal pain. Songs like Your Cheatin' Heart and I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry laid bare raw emotions that many people felt, but rarely expressed in public. This honesty resonated with listeners and influenced future songwriting. Williams's impact on later country artists is significant. Stars like Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Johnny Cash all cited him as a major influence. They saw in Williams a model of artistic authenticity that valued personal expression over commercial appeal. These artists would form the core of the outlaw country movement in the 1970s, challenging the slick, corporate sound that had come to dominate Nashville. The outlaw country movement can be traced directly back to Williams's spirit. These artists rejected the polished production and formulaic songwriting that had become the norm. Instead, they embraced a rougher, more authentic sound reminiscent of Williams's era. Williams's defiance of convention opened the door for future artists to express themselves more freely. He demonstrated that country music could be a vehicle for personal expression and social commentary, not just feel-good entertainment. This legacy of authenticity continues to influence country artists today, from traditionalists to genre-bending innovators. Williams proved that an artist could achieve massive success while staying true to their vision and values. This ethos of artistic integrity became a cornerstone of the outlaw country movement and continues to inspire musicians across genres, shaping the future of country music and beyond. Hank Williams' musical legacy endured through his family, with each generation leaving its mark on country music. His son, Hank Jr., born just months before his father's death, initially struggled to find his own artistic identity. He began as a tribute act, performing his father's songs and adopting a similar style. This early path provided a ready-made audience but also cast a long shadow over his own artistic development. As Hank Jr. matured, he began to blend country with Southern rock, creating a sound that was distinctly his own. This transformation led to a successful career spanning decades. Meanwhile, Jet Williams, Hank Sr.'s daughter born after his death, discovered her biological father's identity in her early 20s. Despite this late start, she pursued a music career and fought legal battles to secure her place in the Williams legacy. Hank Williams III, Hank Jr.'s son, further expanded the family's musical horizons by incorporating punk and metal influences into his country sound. Each generation of the Williams family has pushed the boundaries of country music in unique ways. From Hank Sr.'s raw emotional honesty to Hank Jr.'s country rock fusion and Hank III's genre-bending experimentation, they've continuously redefined what country music can be. The Williams family's journey reflects the challenges faced by children of famous performers, as they balance honoring their family's legacy with forging their own path. Their diverse contributions showcase country music's ability to evolve while staying true to its roots. The family's ongoing influence on American music demonstrates how a musical legacy can drive innovation and keep the spirit of country music alive across generations. Hank Williams' life exemplified the raw emotion that defines great music. His songs, born from personal struggles, continue to resonate decades after his passing. Williams demonstrated that profound art often comes at a steep personal cost. The pain that fueled his creativity ultimately consumed him, but his music endures. Williams' influence reaches far beyond country music, setting a new standard for songwriting across genres. His honesty and vulnerability paved the way for future artists to express their deepest feelings through song. We still hear echoes of Williams' style in contemporary music, from rock to hip-hop. Despite his tragically short life, Hank Williams left an indelible mark on American culture. His songs remain powerful today, speaking to universal human experiences. Williams' legacy serves as a testament to the enduring power of authentic, emotionally charged music. His work continues to inspire and move listeners, proving that true artistry can touch generations long after the artist is gone.